video, I'm going to go ahead and teach you guys how to wrap a Christmas present. So to start, for the materials, all you need is some wrapping paper. I just have some Christmassy wrapping paper here, some scissors, some tape. I just got some basic Scotch tape from Target. A pen and name tags if you are using this to write the names on the presents, or you can just use a dark permanent marker. And of course, your present. This is just a little Kristoff doll I got for Bella. So to start off, you always want to make sure that you take off the price tag or cover it up somehow, because you don't want anyone to know how much you actually spent, as well as any additional price tags that would indicate something. I want to make sure that the top of the present is face down. Now, because of the angle I'm doing this, my wrapping paper is actually backwards, but this is just the angle that's comfortable for me. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this around. Now, for the cutting portion, I'm going to actually go ahead and turn it sideways because I'm going to wrap this way. I don't know if you can tell, but this here, the wrapping paper has some slotted edges right here and squares, and those all just represent an inch, about an inch at a time. Some wrapping paper does, some wrapping paper doesn't. And a quick tip for buying wrapping paper is you want to wait till after Christmas because everything's like 75% off. So all of the wrapping paper I have from this year is actually stuff I bought after Christmas last year. So for measuring, I just eyeball it, but you want to make sure, like, when you're measuring, you want to make sure that the wrapping paper goes over this. If you're doing a bigger present, you might want to go ahead and run over it like this, but because I know I've got plenty of room on this side, I'm not going to do it. And then you kind of want to leave on each side about an inch or two to be able to fold the sides of your gift. I just eyeball it. Usually about the size of this is where you want to cut up so you can go down. So that's about 2 inches there, so I'm going to take my handy dandy scissors and cut right about the 2-inch mark. I don't think that's showing up on camera, but approximately 2 inches there. And then just cut all the way down. Like that trick. Something I learned with time. Put your excess paper to the side, and now we're going to measure where to cut for the rest of the wrapping paper. Now I kind of go like, what I'll do is I'll take one side and go like this, take the other side, go like this. So I've got quite a bit of excess here, so that I can use this wrapping paper here for additional presents. I'm going to go ahead and cut. As you can see, I've got a lot of excess here. I can even cut a little farther back if I wanted to, but I'm probably going to go ahead and go about halfway to the top of the present, which is about here, just to give myself a little bit of wiggle room, because you want the wrapping paper to cut the whole present. And don't worry so much about being nice and even at this stage. So we're just going to go ahead and go like that. So that's not even. As you can see, the edges are jagged, which is why I gave myself extra room. Put the excess paper to the side because you can always use that for later presents. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it up into about an inch, and just kind of, just to give it a nice even edge. I'm going to take this here, even it out. Oh, by the way, the shape of the present, it's easiest if you work in squares and rectangles for the basic gift, but you can always wrap it in other ways, and I'll show you how I do like a more rounded one in a minute. But so as you can see, we've got that. It fits. It's a little tight, but that's kind of what you want. You want everything nice and snug. Otherwise you just end up with excess paper and it looks messy. So taking that, and it's not perfectly even, but another thing you can do is just take that, because this edge is a little bit more even. I am going to go ahead and take this and put it on top of that. Flatten it out. This part here can get a little bit tricky, but you take the tape, you kind of hold it here. And what I like to do is I like to tape it in 3 different parts on the top. So I take about an inch or so of tape. I'll tape it on one side, I'll tape it more in the middle, and then I'll tape it right on the other side there. So now that that part is done, nice and clean, we're going to go ahead and go to the sides here. Now this is where the shape of the box really comes in handy, because it is a nice and square. It's nice and easy to fold. So you're going to fold down Now you've got two sides here. You've got one side. You're going to just tighten up that edge. Tighten up the other edge. And then take this, and you're kind of got to go by feel here. If you have a little bit of a wonkier shaped box, don't worry about it. Just feel for the edges. And I'm going to take this. I'm just kind of going with the sides of the edges, taking it down, folding it in, taking it down where I feel the edge, folding it in. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, taking it down, folding it in, and now you have a nice little triangle. Here you can do it one of two different ways. You can either bring it up like this and just tape that there, or if you want to just do it up a little bit, just fold it up right there. And as you can see, we're a little bit wonky here, so I'm just going to go ahead and fold that edge in, make it look nice and tight, nice and seamless. If you need to add some additional tape, go ahead. Take my tape. I'm going to make the initial tape right here. And you can either leave it there, but because I want it to be a little bit more secure, and the more square boxes, the less of this you'll have to do. When in doubt, just put it in a bag, especially if you are trying to do it up and make it look more of a nicer look. But I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. And as you can tell, the tape really doesn't show too much, so it's nothing to worry about. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. However, since that side is already taped, I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick that might make it a little bit easier. Fold it down. Fold your edges in, just like so. Fold your edges in. Now, because this side is already taped up, what I like to do is I like to bring it up on its side, and then I can really get those edges on this side. And if you want to fold this additional piece here, it's a little bit more square on this side, but don't worry about it. Just has to do with the shape of the box. And now I have more of a sturdy base for the tape. I'm going to go ahead and just tape it on either side here. And then just one in the center, just a small piece of tape. I'm taking about an inch long, half an inch of tape. Now we've got our present. Now I don't typically do this because my 2-year-old likes to get into ribbon, but for the sake of this video, I'm sure some of you are going to want to know how to do ribbon. This is just some piece of ribbon I have on hand. Get the rolls, they're super cheap at like Dollar Tree, Target, anywhere else. So to do ribbon, you're going to want to start more towards the center. Start on top because that's where the top of your box is. Go down. I just kind of eyeball the measurements, kind of go up and down, but you're going to want it to go all the way around the box. So I'm going to go all the way up here. So I probably went about 3 or 4 inches, or no, this is probably about like, I would say go about 3 or 4 inches above the box. I overdid it a little bit. Or sorry, my measuring is wrong. I'm eyeballing it. This is probably more like 6 to 12 inches, which is fine. I'm going to cut my ribbon here. If you want to, you can do pre-cutting if you're really good at measurements, but if you're like me, you tend to mess it up a little bit. So now I'm going to take this ribbon here, I'm going to go around, I don't know if you, yeah, go around like this, kind of do a twist. And then you're going to take this and tie it down like this. Now this comes really handy if you have children that like to help you. Now I just tied a basic knot right there. If you have children, have them put their finger there while you get the tape. I'm gonna put that tape there. And again, this is very handy if you have children who like to help you wrap presents. And then I'm just gonna take my little piece of tape here. You kind of just gotta get a little wonky with your fingers. And tie that there. Now this ribbon is already curled, however I'm going to go ahead and curl it even more. And if you wanted to do thicker ribbon, you could. Be careful, don't cut yourself. I'm playing with scissors. You're going to take the edge of the scissor. You're going to put your thumb here. You're going to take the edge of this. And if you're doing this right, you will not cut the ribbon. You're going to start at the bottom, hold it with your finger, put your thumb on the outside of the ribbon, and go all the way up. And then you have a curl. You're going to take it, and then you have a curl. Now the thicker the ribbon, the more full the present will look, or you can even do this a couple times around if you wanted to do a little bit more full. If you have a bow, the bow would be placed right in the center, but since I do not have one on hand, I'm actually going to take my name tag. I'm going to write the name down, and I'm going to place this just in the center, just kind of securing that ribbon down. And there you have it. Your gift is wrapped. It's cute. It's pretty. The more square the box is, the less jagged your edges will be, but just roll with the edges. Put extra tape where extra tape needs to be. It's not going to make your present look bad. Feel free to get boxes like this to stick your gifts in, and like clothing items, gift sets, stuff like that. Stick it in, tape the boxes shut, get your tissue paper, and go ahead and do that, and that'll definitely help to smooth out the rougher gifts to wrap. But I'm going to go ahead and show you really quick how to wrap a more rounded gift just like this. So again, same concept. I don't have enough of my excess paper here to work with this. Actually, you know what? I have some of this that I cut the other day. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this just to kind of show you how you can use your excess paper. Make sure that the price tag is off. And this will work if you're like wrapping jams or if you're wrapping anything more rounded. You can do the candy wrapper effect if you want to, which is where you would wrap the edges and then secure the edges off with a ribbon. However, I've just been doing it like this because it just seems to be easier. But here I'm going to be working with my edges. Yeah, this whole thing seems to fit this, so I'm not going to worry about doing any additional cutting with this. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here, and if you are doing something a little bit nicer, you might want to go ahead and just put this in a nice big gift bag. But again, I'm doing the same concept as I did with the previous gift. I'm going to go ahead and measure here. Now, it would be perfectly, I'm going to go ahead and fold in the edges of, because I have quite a bit of excess paper, I'm going to just fold it in probably a good 2 to 3 inches because I simply have the room to. And then I'm going to go like this, kind of try and round it out a little bit. And again, I'm going to do the same 3 pieces of tape, measuring about ½ inch to an inch a piece. I mean, yeah, you can get away with 2 if you wanted to save on tape a little bit, but this is just what works for me. So because this is a little bit more rounded, I'm just kind of playing with the edges. I am taking this here and kind of working around the edges of this here. And then same with this side, just kind of doing my best. I'm doing my best to kind of round it out. This is going to look a little bit more wonky, but that is okay. Doing this, and if you wanted to have, you could have cut out the edges a little bit, but I just chose not to. And just kind of doing that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a little bit of a bigger piece of tape, tape this edge here, and tape this edge here, tape this up, round this out, and just working with the edges of this, just putting tape where tape needs to be, just like so. That came off, so I'm just going to put an extra piece of tape there. And just putting that there. And again, same thing with the other side. Taking it, rounding it, taking it down, rounding it, putting my excess tape, putting a piece of tape here just to kind of bring that down, and another piece here and going like this, and this will help me really kind of see where my edges are. I'm just going to fold this in here and then taping on the sides. Here I've got about 2 inches of tape on each side. See that? You know, it's a little bit more jagged. If you were doing for anything else but immediate family, I would suggest that you do a gift bag, but because it's just for my girls, I'm just showing you it is possible to wrap a more rounded gift package. It's just you're just gonna have to work a little bit more with your edges. Stick your name tag on it. I'm gonna stick my name tag on it, and then I am going to just put it off to the side until I put it under my Christmas tree. Alright, so for our last one here, I've got a little Bath & Body gift set that I'm going to be wrapping. I'm going to be doing this in a bag. I'm sure this seems pretty simple, but I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick walkthrough with you guys. Make sure your price tags are off. I got this bag. This size looks like it should work. If not, I'll just get a different bag. But I'm going to open that up. And then because it's blue and white, I'm going to go more blue and white theme on the tissue paper. So what I typically like to do first is I like to just take a piece of tissue paper at a time, take my gift, kind of just wrap it up a little bit, put it off to the side. If you want to put a ribbon around it, you could, but I'm not going to. And then just the same with the other 2 pieces here. Take it, just kind of stick it in the center, wrap it up, stick it to the side, and then same with the last one. I'm wrap it up, stick it to the side. Now what I'm going to do is with the 2 taller pieces, I'm going to go ahead and stick it here. Make sure the front is facing the front. I'm going to take this here, stick it here, and then with the last one here, you may need to stick this one in sideways. That's okay. That's what I'm going to have to do here. And just do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer in some more fun pieces of tissue paper. I'm going to take this one here. That's going to be my outer layer. I'm going to take this here and kind of put this to the side, kind of more like that. And then just put this white piece of tissue paper here in for some fullness. Take it, stick your finger there, turn it over, and just fluff it up like that, and then just find a place in your bag where it's nice and full. And if you need to, you can always use some extra tissue paper to fill in some stuff. And there you have it. I am going to go ahead and put on name tags. Some bags come with name tags, some don't. You either put a card or a name tag, but I'm just going to put a name tag on here. And I would like to put it in a corner where none of the decor is showing, and I'm going to actually use a different name tag because that one's all messed up. Name tag, and just put it right here. I'm just going to put it in the upper left hand corner. And well, you guys, there you have it. That's pretty much all I have to show you. My 2-year-old already destroyed the ribbon on this present, so I typically like to put the name tags in the top corners, but wherever works fine as long as you can find them. So there's a nice rounded one, or a nice square present here, our more rounded one. Not the prettiest, but definitely doable if you do enjoy just playing around with wrapping paper. And then our nicer gift here. What I like about this is that there's so many different wrapping papers to choose from, so many different gift bags. I try to reuse my gift bags every year, depending on what I get from people or, stuff I have left over. Same with tissue paper, I'll typically put them out. But with that, I hope you liked this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got a lot out of it. If you have any other Christmas related videos for Vlogmas this year, please let me know. And I will see you in the next video. God bless and bye, guys.